The president spoke briefly at the G20 summit in Argentina this weekend, but a planned one-on-one meeting with the Russian President Vladimir Putin was canceled. The administration blamed the cancellation on Russia's recent behavior toward Ukraine, but it also came shortly after Michael Cohen's plea deal with the Mueller investigation. Then, in the end, though, the president did have an informal meeting with Vladimir Putin anyway. Stephen Cohen is a professor emeritus at NYU, a contributing editor at The Nation magazine, and joins us to sort this out. He is the author of a fantastic new book, which you should read, called War with Russia, From Putin and Ukraine to Trump and Russiagate, which I just got and read and loved. Professor, thanks very much for coming on tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tucker.
So sort this out, if you would. The president had a planned meeting with Vladimir Putin, and it was downgraded to an informal conversation. Why the change? What are the implications of it?
For the first time since President Eisenhower, a president of the United States, Donald Trump, is not free to keep us from war with Russia. That is one of the themes of my new book, War with Russia, that you mentioned. Remember what happened. Trump was supposed to meet with Putin in Argentina. Was that important? It was very important. We're embroiled in crises that are fraught with hot war, not just Cold War, from Syria to Ukraine. Then this episode in the Russian-Ukrainian waters occurred. It seems clear it was a provocation to disrupt the meeting between Trump and Putin, and it was successful. Trump felt, because of these Russiagate allegations, clearly, that you've just discussed, with Professor Dershowitz, that Trump feels not free to deal with Putin in terms of national security. Think back to John Kennedy during the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. I mean, that was the model of what we should never do again. But the lesson also is that President Kennedy was free to negotiate with the Kremlin leader to avoid nuclear war. That is not the case today, and that's why I think the danger of war with Russia, at least since the Cuban Missile Crisis, is greater in my lifetime, in history, than it's ever been, because of these Russiagate allegations, for which I've yet to see any authentic evidence. And we saw that last week. Trump either felt he could not, or he lacked the resolve to go ahead and meet with Putin, even though this meeting is desperately needed. There's a new crisis every month with Russia.
So let me just ask the most basic question. Clearly there are forces pushing for war with Russia, in effect, in our country. Who are they, and why are they doing that?
I'm not prepared to say that they actually want actual war with Russia, because in my mind, that means the possibility of nuclear war. I mean, a few decades ago, you and I would be having an oh my God conversation. I mean, how can we even think about the possibility of nuclear war? Somehow that's gone, lost in these Russiagate allegations that Trump is somehow under the influence of the Kremlin. There's no evidence for it. So in my mind, whoever promotes this Russiagate allegations, and it's primarily Democrats, not only, but primarily the Democratic Party, is endangering our national security. Now, that's not a popular thing for a person such as myself, who used to live on the liberal reservation, to say. And people denounce me for saying it. But it's the real truth based on my 50 years of studying American-Russian relations. We're in a very dangerous situation, Tucker, and this has to stop, and has to stop very soon.
Professor Steve Cohen, coming from you, anyone who's followed Russia for the last several decades knows the weight that those words carry. So I appreciate your saying that. I appreciate your new book, and we'll hope you'll come back. Thank you.
Thank you.